Hey everyone, this is Stacy, the director of SF Johnson Family and Community Services, with a short presentation on the history of policing. So you will have a full understanding of why things happen, why things have been happening, and there is something that you can do to make it stop. Okay, so it's very important for us to understand that there is a history of this crap, this brutality, this inhumanity that has always been allowed in this country. And so I'm not going to sugarcoat it or whatever. You take a look at the badges you see here. Runaway Slave Patrol looks a whole lot like a deputy sheriff's badge from LA County today. So policing really has its origins in slavery. The original police, they became police after we were free, and they were just slave catchers. That's all they did. When you see the badges, that's all they did. And America's need to constantly keep their knee on our neck came up with more and more reasons to keep basically slave patrols in business, but just calling them something else. So it's really unfair to black people, to black children, to make them think, in the back of their minds, children don't know what the hell's going on unless we tell them. And they see what's going on. So it is so unfair to make our children grow up and live in a world where they just see black people constantly being abused by the police, and we don't give them a fuller understanding of why and where it comes from, and give them power to not be involved. I had to explain to my 14-year-old grandson today that if you are arrested, if you are under arrest by any of the authorities, one, if you're convicted, you're automatically a slave. Kids don't know that. A 14-year-old black kid don't know that. They don't know that, and they should know that. That if you find yourself in a position where you want to be lawless, you will give your freedom away in more ways than you know. You will become a slave. 13th Amendment freed us all, but under one circumstance, you become America's slave. And that is when you break America's laws. You become their slave. That's one thing I had to explain. And the most disgusting thing I had to explain to him, that it blew my mind when I found out, if you are arrested, the authorities have the right to have sex with you without your permission. So yeah, there's abuse in prisons because they have the right to do that. Let your children know that, so they will stay away from crime, because you will automatically become somebody's sex slave as soon as you are arrested. It's disgusting, but it's the America we live in, and those are the things that they don't want you to know. And it's so unfair to wake up every day, black children, and you are not empowering those children to live in this cruel, racist ass country. So here we go. Tough on crime is bullshit. Tough on crime is tough on black people. That's all it means. And so if you are above the age of 50, do black people a favor and be helpful. Nobody wants to see you half naked doing yoga. Nobody really wants to see that, because you're not attractive at 80 doing that. We need you giving some knowledge to people that will help children. If you can help children, I don't want you to fix my credit. I don't want it to be on your call for your sales team. Do that on you could do that, but do something to help a black child too. Teach them how to do what you're trying to sell. That's basically what I say. Because we're not educating our black children. The crazy racists, they're educating and they're scheming on our black children. Okay, so Teach them about the history of policing. Well, basically slave patrols, okay? Slave patrols continued until the end of the Civil War and the passage of the 13th Amendment. Following the Civil War, we got militias that just, we're going to keep fucking with you. We've been fucking with you. We just going to keep fucking with you. They were empowered to control and deny access to equal rights to free slaves. We don't mess with you. That's why we didn't get Reconstruction, because these type of people got really upset about your 40 acres and your mill. So, oh well, can't give it to you. And that's where it was left. Just can't give it to you. And we're going to make groups to fuck with you. You want to know where your police, why they just pull you over and fuck with you? Hundreds of years of being based on that philosophy. What can you do about it? Let the world know you know about it. And Maxine Waters, all those people, Karen Bass, all those, let them know you know about it. What are you doing? When it comes to black issues, black problems, they seem like they can never be solved. But you want to know why the police do what they do? It's because they're really back in the back of their mind, you're just an old slave that they're just trying to arrest. And they won't increase property tax or any kind of tax for corporate, whatever. So cities have to make money. How they gonna make it? Pulling your ass over for stupid stuff. And if you're a black man in these southern country ass states where they allow these country ass black Negroes that don't get no power nowhere else, but when they go to work, they do this stupid shit. So, slave patrols. Why? Why did they just shoot your son? Slave patrols. Don't ask why. Just make it stop. Make somebody in Washington make it stop. That's what Martin Luther King had to do. You need to fucking get brave or you're going to lose everything. You better get brave or we're losing everything. And educate your damn children on why things happen. Why they're able to do what they do. And nobody stops it because there's no will for anybody to stop it. There's no will for anybody in Washington to make this shit stop or it would stop. There's no will in the community among black people to stop it or else it would fucking stop. You need to find the will to make it stop. Find somebody you're going to listen to help you organize to make it stop. So, slave patrols to militias, and then they enforce the black codes. Strict local and state laws. We're going to go over the black codes and the Jim Crow laws, everything to fuck with you. We call the nigger laws, right? The nigger rules. Every time we figure something out, a new law changes to put us back where we used to be. That's the history of black people in this country. If you know the history of slavery, right? Couple slaves got free before the whole thing got started because the status of the slave followed the father. If the father was a Christian, Christians couldn't be slaves. So you went to court. My father is this white dude. He's a Christian. I'm his child. I can't be a slave. You won. What they do, put in the nigger rule. Now it follows, well, your perpetual slavery. The status follows the mother. And of course the mother was a slave. And so forget that Christian thing. That we're throwing that out. Nigger rule. Nigger rule. Okay, they had to do something with those slave catchers. They wasn't just going to massively lay them off. They gave them something to do. And they still working today. Protect and serve has nothing to do with your black ass. It all has to do with the communities they're protecting against you. Okay, so don't ask why. Why? Because their original job, the job was never to serve and protect anybody that's brown. So don't ask why. This is why. Okay? This is why. This is why. Next week, this is why. Rodney King, this is why. O.J. Simpson, this is why. Martin Luther King, this is why. Just my son walking home from the 12th grade in his peacoat, just pulling him over, asking him where he going. This is why. So don't ask why. You know why. This is why. Oh, they stopped being mean. No. No. But we needed police. No, you didn't need police before slavery. You didn't need police. There was no police before Negroes was free. That's why they get away with, white people get away with shit all day long. Because there was never a police before your black ass got free. So quit fooling yourself and make a motherfucker do something to make this shit stop. Tell these slave patrol motherfuckers to stop. We need a redo. Excuse the French. Can I cuss on YouTube? Oh, we'll see. I think I can, as long as it's not in the first 8 seconds. All right. So we went from slave patrols to militias, black codes, and then 14th Amendment came along, and you got equal protection. Okay, so they had to abolish the black code, but they got something to replace it. They never let you down, black people. The racists never let you down. Then they got old Jim Crow, 1900s. Okay, so, and that lasted until Martin Luther King said, "I am a man," or something. And then, yeah, that lasted for a while. And the Civil Rights Act, they've been undoing that since I have been born. I was the only child of my mother and father's 11, born with civil rights in December of 1964. Since that time, since July when it passed, of 64, they've been trying to undo it, and they're doing pretty well by killing all the leaders that made it happen. And let me just tell you very quickly how the civil rights movement even came to be. The money, right? Everything takes money. During the 60s, because of segregation, there were tons of black lawyers, black businesses, black this, black that, and which meant tons of black money available to fund that cause. So, yeah, the black church was in it, but black lawyers were the lawyers. Black businesses provided their locations for meetings. And so white America figured that shit out when they start killing our leaders to make sure that never happens again. And so you get stuff, the T.D. Jakes of the world. That's not really a church that's going to help you do anything. You get all of the fake mega churches, then you get all the organized religions that really are just a judge factory. Just going to judge you. So, yeah, this is what we doing, because it's not just complaining and asking why, and make sure you tell your kids about that having sex with you once you get arrested, and then I bet everybody be good. All right, so what we're going to be showing is slave catchers, slave resistors. Is a two really good, watched it a long time ago, and even produced a class based on what it was teaching, and I think it's very important. Now, at my website, our website, sfjfamilyservices.org, we want you to sign up there. Need you to sign up. Need you to go ahead and sign up. We're going to have some stuff on Patreon because, nothing's free. And nothing worth nothing is free, let me tell you. And so we think it's important to show this. It depicts the system of slave policing enforced by militia, armed community slave patrols, paid slave catchers, and the federal law. The stories are set in both the South and the North, so the North was just as bad. They were just a little nicer about it. from the mid 1700s colonial era through the end of the Civil War. So I think that's important that we watch that in its entirety. And every Saturday, and we will begin on Saturday, there'll be a room you can click on where this will be showing. And every Saturday from noon to 5 p.m. we have our open community where the kids get together and chat. We'll present issues, not issues for kids. I always got issues. Science, nature. They can sign up for a tutoring service during the week, and it's going to be live, like a Zoom kind of thing. All grades from kinder all the way up to whoever's the oldest. And that's what we're trying to do. So don't ask why. This why slave catchers never changed. Didn't have police before we were free. So get in the back of your mind, police are only to enforce brutality on black people. It's just it. Whether it's black people doing it to black people or white people doing it to black people. We know that this country's racist, so who's surprised that a white cop is going to mess with a black cop? And I'm personally not surprised that a black cop in the South is going to use his nickel's worth of power they gave him for 8 hours a day to abuse anybody, everybody. So, slave patrols, I'm going to end it there. So we're going to come back with this. Make sure you join us, sfjfamilyservices.org. Sign up there so you can join us this Saturday. This is our first Saturday. And at least get some education about this stuff. And we shouldn't ask why. They're slave catchers. They have never changed their culture. And so we have to change them. They're never going to change. That qualified immunity stuff, why don't they ever go to jail? Because there's something in their contract of whatever is that no matter what they do, they can't go to jail. They're starting to go, but we're lucky when they go. A lot of things need to change, and we can make a change. So have a good night. See you next time.